my name is Rosemary Manners and I love health. I'm a pharmacist and I love bringing you new ideas to do with health into your life. Today we're talking about depression and we're going to introduce some new ideas with depression, which is rather exciting because for too long we've been coming up with our strategies. We've been going to counsellors, we do therapies, we've been taking the tablets, we're learning meditation, we've done mindfulness, we're doing more exercise, we're looking at our diet, but in the figures in Australia, all these therapies are not showing up. And so it's obvious that we don't have all the answers for depression and anxiety, and it's obvious that we're really looking for some new answers. So that's what we're going to explore today. We know of the 16 million Australians aged between 16 and 85, almost about half will suffer from some sort of mental illness. So there's a big area there that we've got to look at and see if we can find out ways to help with these figures. And people ask me why. Why? Is it the toxins? Is it what we're eating? Is it what we're breathing? Is it what we're drinking? And it's probably a combination of all of these or some of these. I know when you go to the doctor and you get diagnosed, they talk about your family history, they talk about your personality, medical illnesses, they'll look at your genetics, they'll look at things that have happened in your life that has a bit of effect on it. And they'll also look at neurochemical changes. So it's really interesting because the thoughts on how depression happens has been changing over the last couple of years. And it's really interesting to have a look and see what the changes are. So we've known since the 1950s that we've always thought, well, there's a neurotransmitter imbalance. We don't have enough neurotransmitters, therefore we design drugs to fill in this neurotransmitter deficit, and that's where we're going. Well, that view is slowly changing over time, and we've got some new ideas about how depression comes about that are being forwarded in the world, and they're great. They're getting quite a bit of traction, so it's really worthwhile having a look at them. So I've got 4 ideas here that I'd like to sort of share with you that the scientists are presenting to us. And so one is the idea that people with depression have reduced hippocampal volume. So the hippocampus, you've probably heard it before, they talk a lot of it, a lot of the hippocampal volume when it comes to Alzheimer's disease, but it's your short-term memory, your quick memory, where you store memories of what happened today and yesterday. And it seems that it's reduced, the volume is reduced in people with depression. So I'll just read this out. Several studies have found a reduced hippocampal volume in patients with depression even after just one episode. So it doesn't seem like we need to have very long episode or a lot of depression, but it seems to change the hippocampal volume. They don't know the exact mechanism, but they think stress has something to do with it. So people that have a lot of stress seem to have a reduced volume in this area in the brain. So interesting. So therefore, we're sort of interested in drugs that will make a difference, or therapies that will make a difference, or evidence-based supplements will make a difference in this hippocampal area. The second theory that they're bringing to light is to do with the BDNF. And BDNF stands for the brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And they have found it's lower in people with depression and anxiety. And it's actually quite interesting now when they're going back and working out how the drugs work. As a pharmacist, I've been telling people ever since I became a pharmacist that antidepressant drugs will take 3 weeks to work. Why? I've never asked why. Isn't that funny? But now they're thinking it's actually these medications will affect the BDNF, and that's why it takes 3 weeks to work rather than just direct effect on the neurotransmitter. So we're looking for therapies and medication that's going to increase the BDNF in the brain. And so if we have more BDNF in the brain or circulating in our system, then we're likely to have less anxiety, less depression type symptoms. So that's an interesting thing. The third little pointer they found out and the scientists have noticed is that people with depression tend to have high C-reactive protein. So C-reactive protein is a little protein in our system that seems to go up with inflammation. So C-reactive protein will go up with other diseases as well as depression, but they've noticed that it's very high in people with depression. But having a high C-reactive protein is not a sign that you're going to get depression. So they think maybe if people have depression or anxiety, it's something that puts the C-reactive protein levels up. So, yeah, interesting. And this other interesting study is to do with inflammation. So what they found is that there is a link between depression, anxiety, and inflammation. And there's an interesting study where they're giving people non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, and it sort of seems to help. Fantastic. But how it's helping is reducing down the whole level of inflammation in the system. And so it does have some effect. It doesn't solve the whole problem, but it has an effect. So it gives us a bit of a clue of what's happening. So this is really interesting, and this has led to more studies and more studies. And what I want to talk to you today is about two spices. One is very common, one is the rarest and the spice in the world, but they found that these spices actually have effect on the hippocampal volume and on the BDNF. Well, they're the two areas that we know are part of depression and we know are going to have an effect with anxiety. So it's really exciting, finding something new to help with depression and anxiety, because we need it. We need it. What we're doing is not working, so coming out with something new, a new strategy that we can use alongside the strategies that we're using already is a fantastic outcome. So the two spices I want to talk to you about, the one that you're really familiar with is going to be turmeric. Curcumin is the active ingredient, and it's been shown to increase the BDNF and increase hippocampal volume. So we love that. Turmeric is very popular. It's out there now. We're drinking turmeric lattes. We're having turmeric in our curries. We're drinking turmeric tea. And a lot of us with inflammation are taking it as a tablet. So we know about turmeric, but what we didn't know about turmeric before is there's clinical studies out there showing it makes a direct effect if you've got depression and anxiety. But my very special thing, the very special thing that I'm making this video about to tell you about is saffron. Do you remember saffron? Those little threads, you don't see them around very much. They're frightfully expensive because they have to be taken out of each little saffron flower. And most of it comes out of Iran. We had that great big war and saffron went off, but now it's available. And there's been some great studies. The studies are coming through. Now, granted, they're not huge studies, and we do need more studies, but there's some fantastic studies. There's saffron and Prozac studies. So they've given people Prozac, they've given people saffron, and the outcome is that they're both equal in their effect. I've just read a study and I've tried to share them with you, so they'll be around for you to see. So if you just look around, you'll be able to see the sharing with the clinical studies. There's another one with Cipramol, which is another antidepressant drug, and they found that saffron will help. There's a group of people, double-blind studies, group of people taking saffron, a group of people taking Cipramol, and they found at the end of the study that they're both as effective as each other. Mind you, the saffron usually has less of a side effect profile than something like a Cipramol or one of the medications. But my exciting thing is why can't we use it all? Like, we know that antidepressants are part of the answer, but they're not all the answer. We know that meditation is going to help. We know cognitive therapy might be part of the answer. We know that mindfulness might be helpful, but let's add the spices in. Let's have an extra strategy in what we're doing at the moment. And that is the most exciting thing. There's a new thing that we can have. Side effects from saffron are basically unknown. There is a bit of a caution because it's so expensive. There'll be imposters in there. So if you've got something really expensive, then there'll be people trying to make or copy it or come out with ideas of saffron, which is either not the right herb or not the right part of the plant or the right dose. But as long as you know that you're getting pure saffron and it's going to have an effect on depression and anxiety, it's a very exciting thing. So in our clinic, there's two ways that we have. We've got turmeric and saffron in a tablet form, but my most exciting thing is I've put it into a drink. So we've got a happiness within drink, because I think if you're not feeling good, you're not really feeling like taking a whole handful of tablets. So my idea, throw it in a drink. I put a whole lot of cofactors in with the saffron to help in the long term. And you can take it alongside your medication. You can take it, you can do it alongside all your other therapies. But what I'm hoping is this will make a big difference. This will make a difference to what you're doing at the moment, and maybe if we can get enough of it going, we'll be able to show how it makes a big difference. So have a look at the studies. Look at the research, see what you think. I know they're not humongous studies, but they're big enough to know that it's really going to help. They've been done against double-blind studies, so they've done the right way. They're done against the drug. There's some really good evidence out there. So I'm going to encourage you to give it a go. And there's no side effects. You've got nothing to lose. So go and give it a go. Report back to me, because I'm really interested to see how saffrons goes. The scientists have done the work. Now it's up to us to see how it works in the community. So saffron and turmeric are your two things that I really wanted to get into your minds today when you start thinking about depression and anxiety and the strategies that you're going to put into your life to combat these two illnesses. So let me know. I really love some feedback. This is very new. It's a new cab off the rank. The tablets are just sort of the tablets, and the powders and things are just coming onto the market now. We need to be very careful about what we're choosing, but as long as we're choosing things that are high quality practitioner strength, we are pretty confident that it's going to make a huge difference to your life. I'll see you. I hope this has made a difference, and I'll see you next week at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, and we'll have a new topic to discuss. But I hope you love the spices this week. And you know, I've noticed we don't use as much spices in our cookings, and maybe that's got something to do with it. We should be using more spices. These spices are really little packs of magic that we put into our food. So I encourage you to use more spices in your cooking, and I'm going to encourage you to add saffron as a supplement if you're suffering from depression, if you're suffering from anxiety, and let me know. Let me know how it goes, because I'm very excited that I can introduce something new to you that you probably haven't been following and you probably don't know about it. So I'll see you next week. Bye.